It's Kevin Kietzman, Uncanceled, on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio, 95.7 FM. I'm Kevin Kietzman, leading you into the Vince Show, coming your way in 1 hour. I've noticed the more and more I listen to Vince, he's a really smart guy. Like, he knows the law and the Constitution inside. Now, either that or he just does 21-hour show prep a day and 3 hours of show. I don't know which, but, man, he's got a lot of facts and figures on his show, and you can learn something every day listening to the Vince Show right here on KCMO Talk Radio. Fun one today. We've got Lee Sterling coming up at 10:30. He's with ParamountSports.com. He's an odds maker, and we're going to talk about fun, odd wagers that you can make on the Super Bowl if you choose to. And, look, you don't have to go sign up for FanDuel. It'd be great if you did. But a lot of folks make one bet a year or do one thing a year where they have some action on a sporting event. It's Super Bowl. Whether you've gone to a party where they have the sheet with squares with 100 squares on them and put $1 in or $5 or whatever you play for, that's gambling too. Everybody's been involved in one of these games. So what I've done for many years in sports radio is we're going to give you some ideas of some things that you can call your buddy and say, hey, I like this. I like Drake May to throw over this many yards or something like that. I like the national anthem to be over and under. Lee Sterling's record on the anthem is amazing. His daughter is a singer and an actress, and she nails it every year. Charlie Puth is singing the national anthem, so he's going to talk about that and other fun things. If you want to try to impress your friends at a Super Bowl party this weekend, we'll get into that. Mark Van Sickle will join us for that as well, no question. And John Anthony's given us the trivia question, the tidbit of all time today. There's only two people that have sung the national anthem twice at the Super Bowl. And I'm going to make you wait. Don't open your search engine. You got to wait. We're going to do the Super Bowl coming up at 10:30. Also later, Travis Kelce steals the show at the Phoenix Open on a practice day because, of course, he did. Oh, and Ellen DeGeneres, has she had it with Europe? And she's okay with living in Trumpville. We'll get into all of that ahead on this edition of Uncanceled. So about 2 weeks ago, some buddies sent me a post on X, and it said, look at this class at the University of Kansas. The class is basically called Angry White Male Studies. And I said, no, that's a few years ago. They've passed the Board of Regents. There's some DEI rules and things in place now in Kansas that they can't be doing that now. This is just recirculating. It is not unusual for things to recirculate on X or any social media platform or anywhere on the internet that's 5 years old, 7 years old, 9 years old, and you think it's today. Like, we really need memory more than ever to, ferret something out and go, okay, that's old. And I told all my buddies, I said, no, I remember that story. That was a few years ago, and KU was teaching these classes to hate white people, and it's all good. The state of Kansas, the Board of Regents have shut that down. And now I see at the Sentinel, there is a writer named David Hicks who's written a piece about angry white males and the class at the University of Kansas. It's there. It's legit. And I thought, I feel real bad for any journalist that takes the bait and goes and writes a story and it's not accurate. However, Mr. Hicks apparently did all of his homework here, and it's recirculating on social media as he's attached a link to catalog.ku.edu of the actual course catalog at the University of Kansas, and they have a class called Angry White Male Studies. It focuses on the recent manifestations of white male anger. Okay, so he goes on in his piece to do something really excellent. He says, here's what the Kansas Board of Regents said you can't do at KU anymore. You must eliminate any positions that relate to diversity, equity, and inclusion. You must eliminate mandates, policies, programs, preferences, and activities relating to diversity, equity, and inclusion. You must eliminate any training requirements in diversity, equity, and inclusion for any employer. Cancel any state grants or contracts relating to DEI, and remove gender-identifying pronouns, gender ideology from signature blocks, state employees' emails, and other form of communication. It doesn't really specifically say anything about the curriculum. So I'm taking this story at its word that this class is now offered at the University of Kansas, and I'd like to offer up, this is just the 100 level. I want to offer the 303 level, and I'm going to teach it for free at KU. I want to go teach Angry White Male Studies at KU 303 level. And we're going to lock in on recent manifestations of white male anger, because that's what this is. recent manifestations like liberal white males with Trump derangement syndrome, trans white males, actors, singers, nurses, and teacher white males, the impact of video games, social media on young white males, media and politicians' public comments fanning flames to incite angry white males. That's the class I want to teach. Because when you say angry white males, it's implied that everybody hates angry white males, that they're the evil in our society. Can you imagine a class anywhere? Angry black male studies, angry Hispanic male studies, angry anything other than white male studies, angry gay men studies, angry Muslim male studies. Can you imagine any of those being allowed? They'd be burning down the campus. But, here we go. KU found a loophole in the DEI and the Kansas Board of Regents, and they're going to have an angry white male studies class. I am so not surprised that they found a loophole and found something that they can do. And when you define the class as teaching the recent manifestations of white male anger, if I put on my journalism hat, you're supposed to verify everything, make a call, double source, do all that. You do not need to call KU to ask them what recent manifestations of white male anger is. It's Trump derangement syndrome. This class is going to focus in on the crap that Donald Trump has done that they hate. That Donald Trump's an angry white male. And he's running the country into the ground. And he's a racist and a xenophobe and a sexist and biased. And he's awful and he's bad for America and he's a hater. He's probably a pedophile. He's probably all these things. That's why they have a class called Angry White Male Studies. We're going to feed Trump derangement syndrome into anybody that wants to take this class. We're going to point to Donald John Trump and say, he's the reason there's anything wrong with anything in the world. That's what that class is about. It probably isn't picking on me or Mark or John or Pete or anybody else, any other angry white males. I'm guessing they lock in pretty heavily on Trump. But you could absolutely teach this class focusing on liberal white males because they're the ones committing the crimes. What percentage of crimes by white males in America are committed by liberals? What percentage of violent crimes are permitted and committed by somebody with Trump derangement syndrome? I don't even think we need to have the discussion about trans males, trans white males, the assassins, people with guns going and doing whatever. We know that white male actors, singers, nurses, and teachers are all on board with hate. We got one of those in Minneapolis. He was a nurse. Oh, a nurse. Really a nurse. Look at all the nurses that are getting fired for what they post about Trump and ICE and teachers. I think nurses are passing teachers in our society now for Trump derangement syndrome. I do. And it scares me a little bit, not going to lie, about the healthcare industry. That people that are giving care above all. There was an anesthesiologist in Florida that's been fired from his job that made some comment that said he's refusing treatment to anybody that he knows that's MAGA. Oh, you're going to walk in, some dude wearing a MAGA cap's going to come in and get an open heart surgery, and you're not going to have an anesthesiologist that day because you're walking? You're not going to do that? Fired. And should be. It's terrifying. What's happening to young white males on video games and reading social media and following the leftist politicians like Tim Walz and Mamdani and some of these other people on the far left? What are they doing? How are they motivating white males to do what? Grab a gun and go shoot Trump. One of them got life in jail yesterday. This Ryan Ruth. The other one got pumped full of lead by the Secret Service on a roof in Pennsylvania. Angry white men with guns trying to kill Trump. Angry white man in Minneapolis attacking ICE, kicking out the taillights of their car. Big man got his 9mm and 3 rounds, 3 magazines of ammunition. He's going after ICE because he's a tough guy with a gun. Yeah, angry white male studies. Really? You're going to focus your class on Trump and conservatives? This is absurd. Kansas, you're not any kind of a place of higher education if you're teaching this filth. The disgusting white males in our society today, the violent ones, the pedophiles, the sex freaks, The alternative lifestyles, those that are pushing everything that goes against what our country was founded upon, are all in one party. We know who they are. We've watched them. We've seen enough. You're teaching the wrong angry white male studies class. It ain't Donald Trump. 913-408-7957. Phone lines are open. Love to hear from you next. This is Uncanceled on KCMO. Winter Olympics in Italy have started. The opening ceremonies tomorrow night. Mark's watching in the control room. USA Hockey, and some very important people are in the seats in Milan.
Yes, J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio both there.
Nice. How's the game going?
USA leads 1-0 right now.
And who are they playing?
They're playing. That's a good question. I don't know the initials.
What are the letters? Oh, never mind. It's okay. We're up 1-0. That's the important part. Czechia. All right, very good. On Sunday, it's the Super Bowl. Lee Sterling has some fun picks coming up in just a little bit. Drake May is an angry white male, the quarterback for the Patriots. Be careful. He was asked about getting married at a young age. He dated his wife for many, many years, since 2015. He's 23 years old. So he's like known her and been like a boyfriend or girlfriend since they were 13 or 14. Quote, "My teammates have a right to do whatever they choose. I definitely advise every one of them to eventually get married. It's one of the best things in my life. It's one of the best things I've ever experienced. There's no better feeling than coming home to a wife that loves you and cares for you and worried about your best interests." Uh-oh. He might get the Harrison Butker treatment if he's not careful. He better hang in there on this thing. Let's go to the phones, and we've got Mark up first today. Good morning, Mark. You're on KCMO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Kevin. I got to tell you, I try to make this story short. A friend of mine said, got this female, young, I'm a senior citizen. She's 35. She likes older guys and just a nice somebody for you to talk to. We sat down and had a brief conversation. She said people really don't understand DEI. And I thought, oh, boy, here we go. I can tell you this, and I'll just get to the main point, is I have relatives, two of them, two specific cases. We had a diversity, equity, inclusivity training from people at KU. They brought them into a government agency, and they said, do marbles in a cup. Have you ever had this happen? No, put marbles in a cup. You ever had this? No, marbles in a cup. Right away, guy said, I know where we're going with this game. In the end, how many marbles you got in your cup? If you've got this many marbles in your cup, this proves our theory that you're inherently racist because of your white skin. That's exactly what they said.
I don't even know what that means, but I believe you. I just don't know. I don't even understand.
They didn't either.
Yeah,
they didn't either. But actually said because of your white skin, you're born that way. You're inherently racist. These are educators from KU. And the last thing I'll say is the other person, he goes out, he has an interview, he's top sales in the country, and sat down with his Hispanic boss, male, and he said, you know what, you deserve this contract, but we can't, and you can't repeat this, but we can't give it to you, and we can't give it to you because we have to give it to a person of color, and she has to be female.
Yeah, that's over. Those things are over. Thanks for the call, Mark. They found a loophole here with this class, is what they've done. And I think it would be awesome if the young conservatives on the KU campus, somebody took this class and videoed it and posted it every day. It just, here's the filth they were teaching in this class today. I'd love to see that. Here's Derek in Oak Grove. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
I heard you talking earlier when you were going on your tirade about angry white men, and you were saying that there's clearly more people associated with Jeffrey Epstein in the Democrat Party. I'm no fan of the Democrats, but I just don't.
I never mentioned Jeffrey Epstein. I never even said the word. You're wrong.
You literally said
no, I did not.
I
said pedophiles.
Right. And I mean, dude, come on. And Jeffrey Epstein's a pedophile. So are you saying that
Well, he was. He's dead.
Okay. So are you saying that there's more Democrats associated with him or more Republicans?
I would, if you're just asking my opinion, more Democrats, not even close.
Oh, really? What about the President of the United States? Like, do you know that his personal attorney, Todd Blanche, just gave an interview with Laura Ingraham where he said it's not a crime to party with Jeffrey Epstein. And then
that's
Todd
true.
Blanche also, okay, yeah. So I would just could you repeat that? It's what's true.
I'm done. I'm going to let you finish and be done.
You don't even want to say it. You don't even want to say it, Kevin.
It's not a crime to party with anybody.
Oh, no, you couldn't even say it still. You're so scared to say it.
What do you want me to say? What is it you're looking for?
Say it's not a crime to party with Jeffrey Epstein.
I promise you I've been at parties before with criminals. I guarantee it.
What? Dude, you're so gross. I know. I'm sure you have. You're disgusting.
Okay.
What is that?
You're a fool. I can't do this. I just can't. I'm sorry. My life's too good. I'm not doing it. Because I'm a happy white male. I'm just not going to have a bad day today. That's it. I'm going to make something of this show if I can. If I can steer the ship back to the dock, refuel, and take off again, we'll make sure that, everything's going to be okay as we go forward. I don't know what he was talking about. I never mentioned Epstein. I don't like the Epstein story. I don't care. I'm sorry. And this gets me in trouble with a lot of listeners. They think that I don't care about pedophilia and finding criminals. It's not that. There's a statute of limitations on these things. So much of this stuff was 20 years ago. You're not going to put Bill Gates in jail. What do you think you're going to do? Do you think you're going to lock up Bill Clinton? You're crazy. It's not going to happen. There is no question Jeffrey Epstein was a Democrat, and there is no question that he hung out with way more Democrats than conservatives. But as a businessman in New York, did he associate with people like, was he at parties with Donald Trump? Sure, we saw that. I think at that time, Donald Trump might have been a Democrat, or at least said he was, because he was in New York and it might have been good for his businesses. Who knows what these people are? I just know pedophiles are sick, and I don't really care. And I'll stand by what I say. We got too much violence. The violent people, running over ICE agents with their car or carrying heat to go get in the way of ICE doing their job are liberals. And I just pointed out 3 angry white males. One shot a piece of Trump's ear off. The other was waiting in the bushes for him. He gets his life in jail. And another one in Minneapolis last week got pumped full of lead by a Border Patrol agent because he was packing heat to go mess with feds in the middle of a street. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Angry white male. And he was a nurse, which is another category. Nurses and teachers are overwhelmingly in our society filling up social media with liberal rants that are getting them fired. And rightfully so. Fire them when you say things like that. Is this Susan on line 1? Do I have that right? All right, we got Susan. Let's bring some civility to this thing. Susan, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Great, thank you.
Hey, I'm just calling for 2 reasons about the DEI stuff. A, I live in Lawrence, but that's, really because nobody can get out of this town, unfortunately, because the cost of buying houses here. But B, I'm actually an ICU nurse, and that's the bigger thing. And, you mentioned, nurses being fired for their posts, which agreed 100%. They absolutely should be for the things that they've been fired for. But I think it's probably a little-known secret that, after I'd say gentleman, but the lunatic in Minneapolis was shot and killed.
Yeah.
We talked about it at work the next night, and every single coworker of mine had the same opinion, and it's that we were all infuriated. They tried to use being a nurse as somehow an excuse for why you support illegals. Not one of us do. And I will say over the last 20 years... All
right, we got about 10 seconds, Susan. We got to wrap it up real quick, okay?
Okay, we've gone more and more to the right over the last 10 to 15 years.
I am so glad to hear that. Thank you very much. I'm glad to hear it because the overwhelming number of wackos that are nurses online are crazy with Trump derangement syndrome. How about this little nugget? The Royals have announced that former player, coach, manager, broadcaster, and baseball operations executive John Wathan has been voted into the Royals Hall of Fame. He's the 32nd member. The induction ceremony will be announced at a later date. 52 years in baseball, 47 with the Royals. He says, I can honestly say I bleed royal blue. That's awesome. John Wathan, not close. Of all the managers I covered with the Royals through the years, not even close. The nicest human being to ever be a manager. I don't know the first couple managers the Royals had. I started with Dick Hauser and then beyond. But just the nicest man and wonderful family, great people, and he's very deserving. And here's why he's deserving of this. He wasn't the greatest player on the team. He wasn't the greatest manager the Royals had. He wasn't the most important broadcaster they ever had. And he wasn't the greatest baseball operations guy they ever had. But he was good at all of them. And that's really, really unique in the industry. And a Hall of Fame should certainly be a place for somebody like John Wathan. That's a really, really cool thing. I'm really happy to see that. That is awesome. Okay, in just a couple of moments, we're going to get hooked up with Lee Sterling from ParamountSports.com. We'll talk a little Super Bowl. I've been just riveted to this Savannah Guthrie and her mother being abducted story. And I just have not really been able to unleash and say what I really think is going on here, because I don't know if my guess is any better than anybody else's. But it's been one of the most remarkable things you'll ever see was that video that she posted last night. And all I could think of when her and her siblings were sitting there crying and talking about their mom being gone is my own mom and flashbacks to O.J. Simpson and his Bronco rolling down the road. I'm like, this is the single most impactful, historic, memorable crime video we've seen in 30 years. I just weep for that family and what's going on, and what we have in the public is, with the information we have, that there's just nothing, that there's just no clue. Like, they're probably wanting us to think that, and maybe it's all going better than we think. But I can't even imagine, But I love my mom so much, and I know that everybody listening loves their mom. And to think that somebody in their sleep in the middle of the night, aged 84, living alone, is vulnerable is just the most disturbing possible thing you could possibly have. So more than our thoughts and prayers go out. Let's get this thing resolved and solved and hopefully find everything into a peaceful conclusion. All right, to the guest line we go. Lee Sterling joining us from ParamountSports.com. It is Super Bowl weekend coming up with Super Bowl 60, and we're going to talk Super Bowl and national anthems and prop bets. His website is ParamountSports.com. He's a national handicap champion. Lee, how are you today, my friend?
I'm good. It's a Super Bowl no one expected.
Yeah.
I don't. If you predicted even one of the teams, you're probably sitting on easy street right now. But doesn't mean that it can't be interesting and fun and. Two very well-coached teams.
Now you and I both love football, and yes, of course, I'd like the Chiefs to be in it, and you'd love the Dolphins to be in it, but that's not the case. So as a Super Bowl matchup goes, this one is intriguing to me, and I really like it because it's two teams that haven't done this before. I mean, their
Right.
franchises have, but these iterations of these teams have not done this. We don't know if Sam Darnold's a champion or Drake May's a champion yet. We don't know. These coaches haven't won one before. These teams are statistically all season long really close to even. The Patriots had an easier schedule, but I just love this matchup because I honestly feel like I don't know what's going to happen. What kind of handle you got on this thing?
Well, I do think that New England had a little bit easier path, especially of late, to be able to face Denver without their starting quarterback. I can't remember the last time we've seen that. So that was helpful, and I thought that Sean Payton made a huge gaffe not going for the field goal at the end of the first quarter. He could have gone up 10-0, and we know that weather was going to be a factor, so that was a big mistake. But give New England credit. They were the better team that day, and they have turned it around. I've never seen it in 1 year like this. I mean, this is unprecedented, and usually you have to pay your dues, and neither team's had to pay their dues. One of the teams is going to win without having lost once or twice or even 3 or 4 times like Buffalo to get there. So I still think there's some great matchups with the story of Drake May out of nowhere in 2 years. He's playing in a Super Bowl, and Sam Darnold's been through so many trials and tribulations to come to a new team and get to the Super Bowl is interesting. And then the whole subplot of what happened in the Super Bowl when these two teams met up last, getting to the 1 yard line and throwing the interception.
All right, this is the one event where I've got a lot of people in my orbit, and I'm sure you do too, that they don't bet on sports at all, but one time a year they get involved in something, whether it's squares at a Super Bowl party or this quarter who's going to win this or whatever, and they have all kinds of games, or maybe they bet a buddy on the Super Bowl because it is the Super Bowl. So each year, for many, many years, you and I on sports radio have gotten together and talked about some of the fun things that you can bet your buddies on. These are called proposition bets. They're known as prop bets, and they can be anything from statistics in a game with a player to something like the length of the national anthem. And let's start with the national anthem because I know you love talking about this, but I'm gonna surprise you today before we talk about Charlie Puth and how long the anthem will be. Can you name for me either of the two men that have sung the national anthem at the Super Bowl twice?
Yeah.
Can you name them? Any idea?
No.
One of them lives in Miami and performed it twice in Miami.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Exactly. This is hard. I didn't get him either. Billy Joel.
Wow, I didn't even remember that.
There you go. It was like 89 and 07 or something like that.
Okay.
He sang the anthem. And then Aaron Neville of the Neville Brothers has sung it twice. And I think the second time he did it might have been with like Aretha Franklin or something like that. But nobody ever gets to do it twice. It's Charlie Puth. Your daughter, for background purposes, is a singer and an actress. And she nails this for you every year on whether the over-under of this year, it's 1:59. Will it go longer than that or shorter than that? She's great at this, so you can't take any credit for this one, Lee. But she's told you this year what to do with this anthem. Do tell.
So here's what she says. So there is no record anywhere, no video anywhere of him singing the national anthem. So you're saying, how can you put a wager on it? Well, he did an interview with Ryan Seacrest a couple weeks ago, and he paid homage to Whitney Houston, who I think everyone would agree has done the greatest national anthem at a Super Bowl. And I think he's going to do it different. I think it could be really special. He's not just a singer, he's a composer. And he's going to be doing it with a choir and an orchestra. So you have to know the rules when you make this wager. It starts from the first word that he sings until he finishes. The last word is brave. So she feels that the choir and orchestra could probably play it out a little bit. And she likes the over a lot, over 1:59.5 seconds.
Because typically choirs and orchestras take words and elongate them. Is that the idea of saying when they're backing him up, they'll take a word that he's singing and elongate that before he starts back up?
Right. Or they could, he could sing and they could, take over for 10 or 15 seconds. It starts from his first word and goes to the last word, brave. So, I think he's going to do a fabulous job. I've been watching him now and learning more about him. So, we've had Whitney Houston and we've had some good ones, just haven't had anyone that's even approached her. And this might be different. It might be really breathtaking.
I'm going to nominate Chris Stapleton as a clear number 2.
Yeah, I would agree.
But not Whitney Houston. Good. Yeah, he was phenomenal. Okay, so ParamountSports.com, Lee has a bunch of prop bets. If you signed up the last few weeks or whatever, and you're on FanDuel in Missouri, it's all new. They're going to have prop bets all over the place here. You can bet on how many receiving yards, passing yards, things like that. And if you want some advice and tips on from an expert, Lee Sterling's website is ParamountSports.com. Can you share a few with us that maybe you like this weekend?
Okay, so I almost never. It's been a while. I don't do the first touchdown. It's just so random. If you want to have fun with it and you got 20, 30 people in there, go that route or do squares. But I think a better way to go with a touchdown bet is Kenneth Walker, the running back for Seattle, anytime touchdown. Not first touchdown, anytime touchdown. That's a better play. I also like Cooper Kupp. Look at some receivers for Seattle. Better receiver. New England likes to play a lot of zone defense. Over 2.5 receptions. Think he'll hit that mark pretty easy. And then 2 receivers for New England. Mac Hollins over 15.5 yards in his longest reception. Not going to catch many passes, but he's also not running. I don't know if I've ever seen him run a flank or screen. He's a straight runner. He likes to run down the field. He's tall and long arms, and all we need is one catch of 16 yards or longer. We hit that one. And then under Stephon Diggs, receiver for New England. He's caught 4 and 5 the last 2 weeks, but I think he's lost a step. And with a team like Seattle playing a lot of man-to-man defense, he might have some problems. So we'll go under 4.5 receptions for Stephon Diggs.
Lee, should people stick to the football and try to do it that way? Because, you can do Gatorade color and will Travis Kelce propose to Taylor Swift, I think was one last year or something like that. Right. Should people just flat stay away from the odds on those are really bad? Should they stay away from the goofy things, or do they just know that people are trying to have fun?
I normally, if you want to do one of them, that's fine. I had a friend one time went to a Super Bowl with me in Vegas to watch it, and he played 49 prop plays, went 25 and 24. But the problem was there was so much juice attached to a lot of the prop plays. It was like he lost 6 wagers. So just 49 wagers is a little bit too many to play. Keep it to 10 or 15.
All right, I think I've told you our producer here, Mark Van Sickle, his nickname is Mark Van Parlay, and I think he's either got a question for you or do you have a parlay this week? Do you want to bounce off Lee and see what he thinks?
I don't have a parlay yet. I was just thinking for the first half, Lee, what do you think about taking the under on the points just because it's 2 new quarterbacks their first time playing in the Super Bowl?
I like it. There'll be some feeling out process. Both coaches really good at halftime adjustments, especially Seattle. But that might be the way to go because, if you don't love the total, you find another wager. That certainly is one that I've talked about and already played. So stay away from the parlays this week. Just play everything straight up. But I think you hit on something there, Mark.
I like playing a team first quarter under if I can find it. Because there's two ways to win. If you do receive the ball, you still could go under. You may not have a great first quarter because you're, dipping your toe in the water. It seems like there's more field goals to start games than touchdowns. But if you're kicking off to the opponent, you may only get the ball once in the whole first quarter. I love finding a team and playing the under in the first quarter. Am I the only one that likes doing that?
No, that's another way to attack it and win. So, sometimes, like I said, you got to do a little digging. There's 584 prop plays out so far, and there'll be more cross props released today. Once the trading deadline is finished here in the NBA, you'll see some, tied, like receiving yards to golf.
Oh yeah, Scotty Scheffler's score.
Do that. Yeah. They always have that, and they'll also have stuff tied to some of these basketball players. So those are fun. But like I said, have some fun. Play within, play within your means. Anyone would like to purchase it, just go to ParamountSports.com. They can get the Super Bowl selection plus our top 15 prop plays, just $97 if they use coupon code SAVE50. We also do the UFC. I send you the selections each week. We've won 23 of the last 29 UFC cards, so should be a fun and entertaining weekend.
Have a fun day on Sunday, Lee. We appreciate you joining us and sharing your expertise, buddy.
Okay, you too, buddy.
All right, take care. He is Lee Sterling. ParamountSports.com is his website, and I like to play the first quarter under. I'm probably going to I'm going to have more action on the Patriots than the Seahawks. And part of this is just Mark's been just a little bit annoying the last couple of weeks. I'm not going to lie. With all this Seahawks gear and all this talk about it, you're basically thinking this is like KU playing K-State. It's just going to be easy, right?
No, I don't think it's going to be that easy.
Okay.
I don't hate I think they're going to win, but I don't hate you if you're going to do Patriots plus 4.5, though. I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah. I think I'm going to take Patriots under in the first quarter. What would their number be? Would it be like 6.5?
Probably 6.5. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'd go under. I mean, I think I think the Patriots would be happy in the first quarter to get 3 points. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm with you. I think they're going to dip their toe in the water to start this game, not come out high flying. I think the Patriots game plan is this. This game is about Sam Darnold. Okay. Darnold has 15 games this year where he dropped back 25 times. 6 of those games, he was in the bottom quarter of the entire NFL. Just awful games. 5 of them, he was in the top 25%. There were 3 or 4 there in the middle. But he's been a roller coaster. This is when he's throwing into coverage, and I think the Patriots think that they can win this game by somehow rattling Sam Darnold.
Yeah, if he doesn't turn the ball over, they probably win. If he turns it over, the Patriots probably win.
They may be totally wrong, but I think New England more than Seattle is putting their eggs in their defense's basket. Should be a great game coming up on Sunday. When Uncanceled continues, Travis Kelce steals the show at a golf tournament on a practice day, because of course he did, on KCMO. Celebrity Ellen DeGeneres is moving back home. Did you see this?
They moved out of the country, didn't they?
Yeah, they moved out. They made it a year without Trump. They got to come back. She's moving back to Southern California. Can't handle it. Said she'll win her over there. Travis Kelce yesterday hit the closest shot to the pin on the 16th hole at the Phoenix Open practice day. And there were a bunch of celebrities playing with pros and things like that. Gary Woodland from Topeka and KU is in the Phoenix Open again this year. He had a tumor on his brain. He's made a great comeback. This is his last non-major win, was the Phoenix Open a few years ago. So he's there, which is really cool. It's a huge field, but Kelce became the star yesterday by hitting this shot in front of all these people. The attendance for the week, the record attendance at the Phoenix Open, 719,000 tickets sold for the week. In 2018, on Saturday, they had 216,818 people on the golf course. That's insane. Now, it's a big, sprawling property, but that's right up there with like the Indy 500 and stuff. It is a crazy, crazy event, and it's on right before the Super Bowl. It ends before the Super Bowl. I don't think Kelce's going to be there, do you? I think he's probably headed for L.A. now for the awards and all the different things that are going on.
I think they're going to the Super Bowl, him and his brother. So
yeah, that sounds like that would make sense. it reminds us, this Super Bowl this year, Puka Nacua, who plays for the Rams, has been in the news this week, not at the Super Bowl, because Sydney Sweeney was looking for a new man or looking for a man, describing somebody who's athletic, outgoing, funny, and will take me skydiving. And Puka Nacua of the Rams is outgoing, funny, athletic, and he posted on social media, I'm going skydiving with you, Sydney, let's go.
He's ready for it.
He was supposed to do it yesterday, but it didn't materialize. Sydney Sweeney has a boyfriend, and I think he got in the way here. But he was going to do this, which he's called out, like Travis Kelce did Taylor Swift. Like, he's on this through social media. How much better would Puka Nacua have done if he landed Sydney Sweeney instead of Taylor Swift?
Man, good for him for getting the call out.
Right. Well, that's how Kelce did it, right?
That's true.
He was at Arrowhead and was just somewhat amused.
He wanted to give her a friendship bracelet.
He was taken aback that he wasn't going to get a chance to meet her.
Yep.
And they said, well, she doesn't meet people before the show. He's like, what? But wait, I'm Travis Kelce.
Yeah, he's like, come on, let me in there.
Puka Nacua's gone all Travis Kelce's trying to land Sydney Sweeney.
I like it.
She, just for publicity, she has to have dinner with the guy, doesn't she? Come on, Puka. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you big time. That would be absolutely outstanding. All right, very good, Mark. Outstanding stuff. You got a whole bunch of props that you're working on, and I know we're going to have a great Super Bowl weekend. We're certainly looking forward to that. Appreciate you listening to Uncanceled. The Vince Show is coming right up. A lot going on. He's going to have the latest on this Nancy Guthrie abduction and all the news of the day straight ahead on KCMO Talk Radio.